What's good, y'all? It's your boy Cam back with a YouTube video, and today I'm just an American going to be checking out the average cost of groceries in Britain versus America. Let's compare the two, man. Let's get it.
Is that, can I say bog?
Bog standard.
So I'm currently, is it
Bog.
bog? Is that, can I say bog?
Bog standard.
So I'm currently standing here at a bog standard British supermarket. That is a Sainsbury's,
A bog standard supermarket. That sounds crazy.
the local edition, because this is a place where a large percentage of the British people are currently going to buy their groceries. And with the cost of inflation on the rise, with the cost of literally all goods going up more and more and more, I wanted to see what is the cost of an average shop at your local store in the UK, and possibly compare it to how our friends across the pond in America are currently doing with their grocery shops. So,
Man, I bet it's going to be so different, bro. I just seen this woman buy probably like 7 items, and it averaged out to like $90 to $100, bro.
without further ado, let's get some food.
Let's see.
All right,
Let's see.
so I am finally back from the
I'm gonna give my prediction as well of how much I think it is too,
Sainsbury's with a meal
if he doesn't tell me.
in hand, using, of course, a reusable bag from Morrison's, because I care about the environment. So today, we're going to be looking at, like I said, the difference in price between the standard groceries you can get in the UK versus the US. Having grown up in the US and spending, to this point, the majority of my life there, I'm pretty well aware of what prices things normally are. And from my experience, I always felt like it was always more expensive to just buy groceries than it was to get a takeaway or a delivery or something like that.
Right.
But hey, depends on what you're getting, and I think the data will speak for itself pretty much. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Evan Ettinger, an American-born British YouTuber who likes making videos on interesting things. Also, he has a master's degree in actuarial science. I'm saying this because it explains my love for mathematics. Today's video is quite mathy. Let's dive on in. Also, if you like this style content, please be sure to give that subscribe button a little toggle. Anywho, so, groceries. In order to make this as fair as possible, I looked at 2 different stores in the US and 2 different shops in the UK, trying to make it as uniform as possible. I also made sure that certain items were judged by the price per kilogram as opposed to just the price. So that way, of course, if something was 550 grams and something was 300 grams, we can actually see the overall cost per kilogram and see which one was more expensive. Also, using Google Spreadsheets' automatic conversion algorithms, I was able to make an entire column just for Americans to understand everything in the dollar value, and also everything in pounds for Brits. Now in the UK corner, we're looking at a Sainsbury's / Tesco, because I believe these are pretty middle of the line shops. And also, they're all over the entirety of the UK. In the US, we're looking at an Acme / ShopRite. And if you're American going, I've never heard of those, I'm fairly certain there aren't any fully national grocery food chains in the States.
Yeah.
There might have some that are like taking up a huge majority of the West Coast or East Coast, like Safeway or Trader Joe's and whatnot, but I'm using my Jersey heritage. So we're going with ShopRite and Acme. All right, I split this up into a couple different sections with the standard groceries. We got fruit and veg, and then we got some meats and other things like that. In the UK, you can expect to spend about £1.20 for your standard loaf, no fancy, no seeds of bread. In the US, the equivalent cost in dollars is $3.84, or in pounds, that's £3.32, a 2.7 times increase over the cost of a single loaf of bread for the same equivalent grammage.
That's wild.
Grammage. My grandma bought this loaf of bread and it was 2.7 times more expensive back in her day. Porridge oats, or oatmeal, standard kilogram box of porridge oats is gonna cost you about £1.95 in the UK. Get you a nice amount of porridge. In the US, that's £4.71, the equivalent of $5.45 for a kilogram of oatmeal. Yet again, we're over 2 times more expensive for this standard grocery. Next up, we've got cornflakes. These exist in both countries. No crazy cereals. No, we're not talking about any like Jolly Rancher or Sour Patch Kids cereal in the US. Standard cornflakes. In the UK, of course, if you want a big box of this terrible anti-masturbatory cereal, it's gonna cost you £2. It's pretty standard. It's cornflakes. You're not paying much for cornflakes. In the US, it is £5.59, $6.46 for a box of cornflakes. Cornflakes. This is one of those that I was like, is it really that expensive? And then I remembered, yes, I loved cereal growing up in the States, and I always expected to pay about $4.50 for a small box, or for the cornflakes, something like that size, about $6. So, whew, I just didn't realize how much I was really saving on groceries living in the UK, on basic things. Moving on, we got 500 grams of rice. This one was actually quite close, only 10% more expensive in the US. Still more expensive, but you know, not as bad. 1.26 times more expensive in the States for the equivalent amount of butter. Moving on to 4 pints of whole milk. And if you're wondering why I'm measuring 4 pints of whole milk, the UK is an absolutely batshit measuring thing in which they go somewhat metric and then they go back to imperial, but in a weird way, where instead of just saying a gallon or quarts or something like that, they just go with 4 pints. Might as well just say 8 cups. I don't know, half gallon, ring a bell, anyone? 2 quarts, I don't know. Either way, so the equivalent amount of milk, a standard thing that most people will pick up during their grocery shop, we're looking at £3.10 in the US. Yet again, more than double the UK amount of £1.45. Switching over to dollars, that's the equivalent of paying $1.68 for a half gallon of milk. So far, we've not really seen any big W's coming out the US, but that's about to change with cheddar cheese.
Let's get it.
550 grams, no. Actually, very close though, only 16% more expensive in the States. So
Okay.
you could write that off as a little bit of variance, that's fine.
Right.
A dozen medium eggs, £2.30 for a standard dozen versus £3.02 in the States. So for my standard
would've won
dry
that.
good groceries, it looks like the UK is a resounding win with a significant decrease in the price of groceries. Now
Yeah.
moving on to fresh fruit and veg. First up is an onion, or rather onions per kilogram. Per kilogram, you're looking at 85 pence for a kilogram of onions. Of course, they're cheap onions.
Right.
Except in the States, you're looking at an equivalent of £3.79. We're looking at 4.46 times the price. Nearly 4
Bro, this is actually kind of outrageous. Like, like, why am I mad at this, bro?
half times more money for a bag of onions. And it gets worse if you only want to buy a couple onions. I knew this because when I visited the States in February, I wanted to buy 1 onion for a dish and it cost $1 for 1 onion. In the UK, that's the equivalent of buying a whole kilogram of them. It's crazy. And then finally, we get our first W, USA. We win on the tomatoes, okay? We got some Vine fresh tomatoes. The US pays 17% less. Hell yes. Now, to be fair, this is a bit of an outlier because this is coming from a New Jersey location. And New Jersey is known for our Jersey fresh tomatoes, the best tomatoes you can get anywhere in the world. So you'd think because they're so incredibly good and delicious in the Garden State, they'd be more expensive, but no, everyone's growing them. We got them all over the place. So congrats, we got cheaper tomatoes. Next up, Pink Lady apples, the creme de la crap. Yes,
Like
another
$5?
win for the US.
Oh, no, a
2%
dollar bet.
cheaper, but we will take our W's. Now, bananas per kilogram are 78 pence in the UK. You can buy them for, at this point, freaking 30 pence per. But I digress. For the US, it's not that bad. At £1.12 is the equivalent amount, so only 1.5 times more expensive. I'm saying only, but at this point, these are all starting to add up. And this one blew me away the most. A kilogram of carrots will set you back 45 pence, nearly 50 cents. However, in the US, for that equivalent, you're paying £1.88. Yet again, over 4 times the cost for carrots. And at this point, it's starting to get really freaky because the US, especially like California, has so many farms, huge swathes of land. We have so much more land. You could argue we have more people, and so therefore we have more demand. But for some reason, I feel like something else is afoot here as well. Like, it just seems wild that all of this is more expensive, except of course the Jersey Fresh and the apples. Next up, standard raisins. Standard bag of raisins are 2 times more expensive in the US. A cucumber, 1.5 times more expensive. Same thing for a can of chopped tomatoes, 1.5 times more expensive. A kilogram of potatoes are so cheap. A kilogram bag is 83 pence in the UK. The US is 3.5 times more expensive. We're looking at over $3 for a kilogram of potatoes. Lord have mercy. We did have 2 wins for this section of fresh fruit and veg, but now I think there might be a bit more perspective here on why there's so much processed foods in the US, because if you can believe it, a lot of those are a lot cheaper than buying all of these fresh vegetables. Just buy a box, add a couple things to it, bon appetit. You save a bit of money, not as good for you. And finally, our last section here is going to be the meat of the video. The meats. Going into this, I really expected the UK's to be more expensive for meats, because God, is it expensive to buy standard mincemeat and chicken and such at the local stores. But mincemeat, holy crap, £1.69 for the UK equivalent weight, £5.99, holy 3.5 times for meat. Wow. I don't know how much I'd eat meat if it was that expensive, to be honest with you.
Goodness.
Chicken breast, 650 grams, 1.3 times more expensive in the
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
That's okay. That's not so bad considering mincemeat was that big. Smoked bacon, very close. Very close. Nearly 1-to-1. 250 versus 2.
This is cap. This is cap right here. I like bacon. And when I go to the store, bro, them bacon be about $9, $10, bro. $9 to $10 for some bacon. This is cap. This is cap. Maybe he said smoked bacon, but bro, nah. They made me pay like $10, bro. I was so mad.
56. That can change depending on how far the pound has been dropping recently. So if we're to
But y'all pay $2, huh? It's crazy. Oh well. What's the equivalent? The equivalent is about $2.89. Wow, bro.
that can change depending on how far the pound has been dropping recently. So if we're to add all these up, the cost of your total grocery shop in the UK would be £48.88, whereas the US equivalent is £88.69.
Yeah. Add a 20 to this actually. About 120.
For $100 for a standard grocery shop, which blows me away. Back when I used to shop at Lidl all the time, I would marvel at how many things I'd shove in my cart and it would still come out to just about 20 quid. And I was like, hell yes. But Jesus, I just can't imagine a standard grocery shop being $100. Of course, this is just a couple samples taken. It's not like a sample across all of the US and all of the UK. And sure, if you're always used to paying 1.8 times what the UK is, you're not necessarily going to notice as big a difference. You don't have anything to compare it to necessarily while you've always been in the US. But sales tax is also a thing in quite a few states. 13 states actually charge their citizens tax on basic groceries. Tennessee charges 4%. So that $100
I'm not up in there. You feel me? My state is not in there.
has an extra $4 tacked on top that you aren't really probably budgeting for, and then that adds up every single shop. Why have I just changed flannels? Oh, I must have changed my shirt location when I was changing my browsing location with today's video sponsor.
Hey man, get your bag, bro. I'm not mad at you, bro. Hey man, this is actually crazy. Yeah, I'd say add about $20 to that. That's like 120 for the whole grocery shopping list. I'm gonna add. He was pretty much on the money. He was pretty much on the money, but he missed out on the bacon. Keep in mind he was in New Jersey. We not accounting for like Florida, bro. Publix, Walmart. Wow. Okay. But yeah, man, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Did these prices like shock you? Like I just said 120 and y'all's was like $40, $45. Whew. I might have to pull up to the UK, bro. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, man, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later, man. Peace.